Hello to the human beings who find their way onto the internet. Welcome to the first ever episode of A World with No End, and I am your host, Alan. And I'm so excited to be finally doing this. I'm also extremely nervous, but what else can you expect when you decide to open yourself out to the scrutiny of the internet? But it is what it is, and we move. When you have a desire to do something, you might as well do it because there's no time like the present, and people are going to judge you anyways, so you might as well do it. So, seeing as how this is like a pilot episode, I'm going to keep it short and sweet and give you the essence of A World with No End, why it's taking the format that it takes, and pave the way for future content while also preserving you from the insanity that is my mind, at least for today and today alone. So the first question that I feel would be there is why I have taken this podcast-esque approach as compared to the traditional video format that most creators would opt for. So it exists within a twofold aspect, and I'm just going to combine both of those reasons into one and explain it all together. So, as an individual, I perceive myself as a creative, and I want to create, I want to be artistic, and I want to make content, so to speak. But at the same time, very blatantly, I am a camera shy person. I don't like the way that I look when I'm staring into a camera or into a lens of any sort. And historically, I never look that good when cameras are concerned. So I opted for an approach that still allows me to speak and have some level of, engagement while addressing a underlying insecurity, bearing myself to the internet emotionally on the first episode. A very smart idea. Note the use of sarcasm. So that is why there's this podcast-esque view. It allows me to explore my desire to create without having to feed into any pre-existing insecurities. That said, what can you expect from A World with No End? Why A World with No End? And why did the door just bang in the background? That's probably because of the wind. So why this is called A World with No End? I guess you could say it's my perspective on the world. I perceive the world as a world with unending cycles, and I guess part of my content will be talking about those unending cycles. But really, what I'm going to do here is open myself up to the scrutiny of the internet by sharing my opinions on certain subject matter. Although this would require me to research those opinions so that when inevitably people start to ride the hate train, at least I can tell myself that I researched and I at least knew what I was talking about so that it doesn't tear me apart completely. And that will tie into the A World with No End theme, because obviously when you're sharing your opinions on certain subject matter, you get to analyze patterns that exist within the world we live in. And yeah, it will tie back thematically. Another thing you can expect from me is to talk about art, specifically things like poetry, writings, and music, because I do love poetry as an individual. I actually do write, and this may or may not feature some of my personal writing, and it may or may not motivate me to get back into the writing spirit, because I have not written anything that makes sense in ages, and I really want to get back to that. So yeah, you'll hear me talk about poetry, you'll hear me talk about music. I actually have an idea that's already in my head that's going to talk about something music related. And you'll see if I ever get around to it. So yes, that is what you can expect from me. A mishmash of different things coming together, to fall in place with the chaos of my mind and the chaos of this world. And that feels like a terribly constructed sentence, but it is what it is. Why is it a mishmash of things coming together to form a collective? Because I am not doing this for the sake of creating a niche audience, because you will find that oftentimes when you want to do something creative, you're told to find your niche and appeal to those people, and that gives you a greater probability of success, at least within your niche. My goal is not to do that. Maybe I might subconsciously end up doing that, but at this moment, my goal is to give myself the leeway to create, to allow myself to explore other facets of my artistic side, and to give myself an opportunity to grow. That is my main goal, and that is the goal that I am going to focus on. So basically, starting a world with no end is a part of my journey of self-growth, and whether it crashes or burns is another thing, but at least I will have the comfort of knowing that I tried, because I've had these ideas in my head since 2016 and I have had no true motivation to implement any of them. But again, as I said in the beginning, we're all gonna die anyways. Life is short. So you might as well, because now is the present, or some other philosophical statement that you can place here. So I hope you will enjoy being on this journey with me as I try to be a content creator. Other than that, thank you for listening to me ramble for the last 7-ish minutes. And I hope to see you again when I do my first real bit of content. So, yeah, bye.